I lent my brother $173,000. Mom took his side. I used to think there were only two kinds of betrayal, the kind strangers do to you, and the kind you never see coming because it wears your last name. The night my brother asked me for $173,000, it was raining so hard the streetlights looked like they were drowning. I remember the exact sound his knuckles made against my front door, 3 soft taps, like he didn't have the right to ask for anything bigger. When I opened it, Ethan stood on my porch with his hood up, water running off his jaw. He looked thinner than the last time I saw him at Mom's, like worry had been eating him bite by bite. "Hey," he said, voice tight. "Can I come in?" I should have asked why he didn't call first. I should have noticed his hands trembling. I should have remembered the last time he came to me just to talk, and I ended up paying his overdue car loan so he wouldn't lose his job. But it was Ethan. My little brother. The kid I used to sneak candy bars to when Mom put him on punishment dinners of plain rice and canned peas. "Yeah," I said, stepping aside. "Come in." He took his shoes off automatically, like he still lived here. Like he hadn't spent the last 10 years running toward anything shiny and running away the moment it required real work. He sat at my kitchen table and stared at the wood grain as if it could tell him what to say. "I poured coffee late, stupid, the kind of thing you do when you're trying to delay an outcome you already feel in your bones." Finally, he looked up. His eyes were red, but not from the rain. "I messed up," he whispered. My stomach went cold. That sentence, coming from Ethan, was never small. With Ethan, messed up could mean overdraft his account or accidentally convinced someone to invest in a fake business idea. "What happened?" I asked. He swallowed hard. It's the dealership." I blinked. "Your used car dealership?" "It's not just used cars," he snapped, then immediately softened. "I mean, yeah. That. But I've got inventory, I've got a line of credit, I've got employees, I've got everything tied up." He rubbed his forehead like he was trying to push the panic back inside his skull. "They're going to shut me down," he said. I sat down slowly. "Who is they?" "The bank. The lender. I missed some payments. I thought I could flip a few trucks, catch up," and his voice cracked. "I can't catch up. It's snowballed." I held my mug so tight my fingers ached. "How much are we talking?" Ethan hesitated. That pause was the first warning. The kind that makes your spine go rigid before you even know why. "Ethan," I said, low. "How much?" He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for hours. 173,000. The number hit the room like a thrown brick. I actually laughed, not because it was funny, but because my brain couldn't find another reaction fast enough. "Are you out of your mind?" I said. His face tightened. "I'm not asking because I want to. I'm asking because I have to." I pushed back from the table. "That's not money people just have, Ethan." "I know," he said quickly. "But you do. You have savings. You always." "Stop," I snapped. "You don't know what I have." He flinched, and I hated that I saw it, how he still reacted to my tone like we were kids and I was the one who decided if the world was safe. He lowered his voice. "I know you're doing well. You've been doing well for years. You're stable. You're the one who always plans. You're the one who always." "Don't," I repeated, but softer this time. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes wet. "If I don't pay it, they're taking the business. They're taking the cars. They'll sue me. I'll lose everything." I stared at him, heartbeat pounding in my ears. It wasn't just the number. It was what the number meant. It meant my savings. It meant my future. It meant the cushion I'd built after years of doing everything right while Ethan did everything now. And yet, when my brother looked at me like that raw fear, real desperation, I felt the old chain around my chest. The one Mom forged years ago with words like, "You're the responsible one. You're the older one. You take care of family. Why are you coming to me?" I asked, even though I already knew. He glanced away. Because Mom doesn't have it. I stared. You asked Mom? He nodded, barely. And? He rubbed his face, smearing water and stress across his skin. She said she'd help, but she can't. She's on a fixed income, and the house, it's not like she can just. But you went to her first, I said. I didn't want to put this on you, he said quickly. Too quickly. I didn't know what else to do. I walked to the sink, turned the faucet on, and let the water run too long. My hands were shaking, so I pretended I needed to rinse them. When I turned back, Ethan was watching me like he was waiting for a verdict. Okay, I said, voice unsteady. Let's slow down. Show me the paperwork. He froze for a second, just a second, but I saw it. A flash of hesitation. Paperwork, he repeated. Yes, I said. Statements. Notices. Whatever you got. If you're asking me for $173,000, I need to know exactly what I'm paying. His jaw clenched. It's complicated. No, I said, stepping closer. It's not complicated. It's money. You show me proof, or this conversation is over. His eyes flicked around my kitchen like he was searching for an exit. Then he pulled his phone out and started tapping. A few seconds later, he turned the screen toward me. There were emails. Notices. A screenshot of some account portal. I scanned the numbers, the dates, the threatening language. My stomach tightened the more I read. It looked real. But something felt off in the way Ethan had presented it, too quick, too controlled, like he'd rehearsed. Okay, I said slowly. Even if this is legit, I'm not just wiring you money. Ethan's face fell. What do you mean? I mean we write something up, I said. A loan agreement. Terms. A repayment plan. Something legally binding. His shoulders stiffened. You don't trust me? I stared at him for a long beat. Ethan, I said, voice shaking with exhaustion I didn't even know I had, you're asking me for a number that could change my entire life. Trust isn't the point. Reality is. He opened his mouth, then closed it. I kept going, because once you start saying the truth, it's hard to stop. I've covered you before, I said. Not this much, but enough. And every time, it's just this once and I'll pay you back, and then months go by and I'm the bad guy for asking. His eyes flashed. That's not fair. It is fair, I said. It's accurate. He stood up suddenly, chair scraping the floor. I shouldn't have come. My chest tightened. The fear that he would walk out, fear that I'd be responsible for whatever happened next, rose like bile. Sit down, I said. He didn't. I'm not saying no, I said quickly. I'm saying, if I do this, it's structured. It's protected. For both of us. Ethan's breathing was sharp. They need it fast. How fast? He hesitated again. 2 days. I felt dizzy. 2 days? He nodded, and his voice dropped. If I don't pay by Friday, they file. Friday. 2 days. My entire body screamed trap. But then Ethan's face crumpled, and he whispered, please. I'm your brother. That was the moment my phone buzzed on the counter. A text. From Mom. Ethan's with you, isn't he? Please don't turn him away. He's in trouble. He needs you. I stared at the message like it was a commandment carved into stone. Ethan saw my expression and looked over. She texted you? I didn't answer. He let out a bitter laugh. She already thinks you're going to say no. My throat tightened. Why would she think that? He looked at me, eyes shining with something sharp and resentful. Because she says you've changed. She says money made you cold. My hands curled into fists. She said that? Ethan's mouth twisted. Not in those exact words. But he didn't deny it, either. I picked up my phone and typed back with trembling fingers. I'm talking to him. I'll handle it. The moment I hit send, I felt like I'd stepped onto a bridge that was already burning. Ethan sat back down slowly, like he'd won something without having to say it out loud. I stared at him across the table, the brother I loved, the brother who exhausted me. The brother who always seemed to land on his feet no matter who he stepped on to do it. Okay, I said, voice barely steady. If I even consider this, I need the full truth. Not the edited version. Ethan nodded. You have it. Swear, I said. He lifted his right hand, like we were kids again making ridiculous promises over cereal bowls. I swear. I stared at his raised hand and felt a chill run through me, because for the first time that night, I realized something. My brother wasn't just desperate. He was certain. Certain that I would do it. Certain that Mom would pressure me. Certain that the family story, the one where I'm the responsible savior, would hold, like it always had. And as I looked at Mom's text still glowing on my screen, I wondered. If I said no, would I lose my brother? Or would I finally see who he really was? Because one thing was already clear. Mom had chosen a side. And it wasn't mine. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, the number $173,000 floated behind my eyelids like a warning sign you ignore right before the crash. I kept replaying Ethan's voice, please. I'm your brother, and Mom's text, still sitting unanswered in my phone like a loaded gun. By morning, my decision hadn't changed. My unease had just grown teeth. At 8:12 a.m., Ethan texted me. Any update? They're pressuring me. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. Come by at noon. We're doing this properly or not at all. 3 dots appeared almost instantly. Okay. Thank you. I noticed what he didn't say. He didn't say I understand. He didn't say whatever you need. Just thank you, like the outcome was already locked in. Ethan arrived right on time, dressed better than he had the night before. Clean jacket. Fresh haircut. Cologne. It was subtle, but it bothered me. If your world is collapsing, you don't usually stop to polish the edges. He sat across from me at the same kitchen table, but this time he didn't look small. This time, he looked prepared. I brought more documents, he said, sliding a folder toward me. I opened it slowly. Loan notices. A balance sheet. A repayment schedule he'd typed up himself. Where did this come from? I asked. I stayed up all night, he said. I wanted to make it easy for you. That should have reassured me. Instead, my stomach tightened. I flipped through the pages, pen in hand. Let's talk terms. Ethan nodded. Of course. We write a loan agreement, I said. Not a handshake. Not family trust. A real contract. His jaw flexed. Okay. You pay interest, I continued. Lower than a bank, but not zero. He hesitated. Interest? Yes, I said. Because this is money I can't use while you have it. He leaned back, exhaling sharply. That wasn't what I expected. Then you expected wrong. Silence stretched between us. And collateral, I added. His eyes snapped up. Collateral? If you default, I said evenly, there has to be something backing this. Property. Assets. Something. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're treating me like a stranger. No, I said. I'm treating this like a 6-figure loan. He rubbed his face. I don't have anything free and clear. Everything's tied up. That's not my problem, I replied. The words tasted bitter, but once they were out, I felt steadier. Ethan leaned forward. If you do this, I'll pay you back fast. 6 months. Maybe less. Then collateral shouldn't scare you. He didn't answer. I made a note on the pad in front of me. I'll have my lawyer draft something. You don't get a cent until it's signed. That's when the knock came. 3 sharp taps. My heart sank before I even stood up. Because I knew. I opened the door, and there she was. Mom. Hair perfectly set. Coat buttoned tight. Purse clutched to her chest like armor. She looked past me, straight at Ethan. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, stepping inside. I was so worried. Ethan stood up immediately. "Mom." They hugged tight, lingering, and I felt like I'd walked into a scene that had already been rehearsed without me. "You didn't have to come," Ethan said softly. "Yes, I did," she replied, eyes flicking toward me. "This is family business." Family business. She sat at the table like she belonged there, like she still ran the household. Her gaze dropped to my notes. "What's all this?" she asked. "A loan agreement," I said. Her lips thinned. "Between siblings?" "Yes," I said. "Especially between siblings." She sighed dramatically. "I didn't raise you to nickel and dime your own brother." Ethan looked down, playing the part. I felt heat rise up my neck. "This isn't nickel and diming. This is." "Your father would be ashamed," she cut in. The words hit exactly where she intended. I clenched my jaw. "Don't bring Dad into this." "He believed in helping family," she said sharply. "No conditions. No paperwork." "That belief nearly ruined him," I snapped before I could stop myself. The room went dead quiet. Mom stared at me like I'd slapped her. "That's unfair," she said coldly. "Is it?" I shot back. "Because I remember him bailing Ethan out. Again and again. And I remember who picked up the pieces when it finally caught up." Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "This isn't helping." "No," I said, standing. "What isn't helping is emotional blackmail." Mom's eyes flashed. "How dare you?" I took a breath, steadying myself. "I'm willing to help. But not blindly." She leaned toward me, voice low. "You owe your brother." The word echoed. "Oh?" I repeated. "Yes," she said. "You got the education. The stable job. The savings." He struggled. "He made choices," I said. "So did I." "And now he needs you," she replied. "Or are you really going to let money tear this family apart?" There it was. The familiar script. If Ethan failed, it would be my fault. If I protected myself, I'd be the villain. Ethan finally spoke. "Mom, it's okay. I'll do whatever he needs." She turned to him instantly. "You shouldn't have to beg." "I'm not begging," he said, but he didn't meet my eyes. I sat back down slowly. "Here's how this goes," I said. "I'll loan the money. With a contract. With terms. Or I won't loan it at all." Mom shook her head. "You're making this complicated on purpose." "No," I said quietly. "I'm making it safe." "For who?" she snapped. "For me," I replied. That was the moment something shifted. Mom's expression hardened, not disappointed, not sad. Angry. "So that's it," she said. "You're choosing money over your brother." I felt something snap inside my chest. "I'm choosing responsibility," I said. "And if that makes me the bad guy, fine." She stood abruptly, grabbing her purse. "If you do this, don't expect gratitude." Ethan looked torn. "Mom." "No," she said. "Let him have his rules." She turned to me. "But don't come crying to me when this poisons everything." She walked out without another word. The door slammed. Silence flooded the kitchen. Ethan exhaled slowly. She didn't mean it like that. Yes, she did, I said. He rubbed his neck. She's just scared. So am I replied. Difference is, I'm allowed to be. He nodded, but his eyes were distant. We finished the meeting in a strange calm. I told him my lawyer would call. He agreed to the terms, reluctantly, but agreed. When he left, I sat alone at the table, staring at the empty chair where Mom had been. Something felt wrong. Not emotionally. Logistically. I gathered the documents again, spreading them out carefully. That's when I saw it. A small thing. Almost nothing. The lender's name appeared differently on 2 documents. Not drastically. Just off. Northline Capital on one. Northland Capital Group on another. My pulse quickened. I opened my laptop and searched both. One existed. The other didn't. A cold wave washed over me. I grabbed my phone and texted Ethan. Quick question. Why do the lender names not match? Minutes passed. Then. Typo. They rebranded recently. That answer came too fast. Too clean. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Because suddenly, I wasn't just worried about losing money. I was worried about something worse. That the story I'd been told by my brother, reinforced by my mother, wasn't just exaggerated. It might be manufactured. And if that was true, then this wasn't a family loan. It was a setup. And I was standing right in the middle of it. I stared at my phone for a long time after Ethan's reply. Typo. They rebranded recently. I read it again. And again. The words weren't wrong. They were just too smooth. Too convenient. The kind of answer you give when you've already practiced it. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop. If there was one thing I'd learned over the years, it was this: real institutions leave footprints. Paper trails. Bad websites. Old press releases. Something. I typed Northline Capital into the search bar. Plenty of results. Commercial lender. Mid-sized. Offices in 2 states. Reviews mixed, but real. Then I typed Northland Capital Group. Nothing. No results. Nothing meaningful at all. No website. No business registry. No press mentions. Just a couple of sketchy directory listings that looked auto-generated. My chest tightened. I pulled up the documents again and looked closer. The formatting wasn't identical. Fonts changed slightly. Margins were off. The letterhead logo looked compressed, like it had been resized too many times. This wasn't just sloppy. It was assembled. My phone buzzed. A call. Mom. I considered letting it go to voicemail. Then I answered. What? I said, sharper than I intended. She sighed dramatically. Is that how you talk to your mother now? I'm busy, I said. What do you need? I want to smooth things over, she replied. You were very harsh earlier. I set boundaries, I said. There's a difference. She ignored that. Ethan is under so much pressure. You pushing contracts and lawyers, it's humiliating for him. Being bankrupt is humiliating, I snapped. This protects both of us. There was a pause. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. He doesn't have time for this. For what? For delays, she said. They're watching him closely. They? I asked. Another pause. A fraction too long. The lender, she said. Obviously. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding. Mom. What's the lender's name? She scoffed. Why does that matter? Just answer the question. I don't remember, she said. Some capital group. My grip tightened on the phone. Which one? Why are you interrogating me? She snapped. I'm trying to help. Help who? I asked quietly. You know who. No, I said. I don't. She exhaled sharply. I raised you better than this. There it is, I muttered. What? Nothing. She lowered her voice. Listen to me. Ethan needs the money. You have it. This should not be this complicated. Did you see the documents? I asked. Yes. All of them? Yes, she said quickly. Did you notice the lender names don't match? Silence. Not offended silence. Thinking silence. Then, you're overanalyzing. My stomach dropped. Mom, I said slowly. Did you check? I don't need to check, she snapped. I trust my son. I closed my eyes. That was it. She wasn't denying it. She was dismissing it. Okay, I said. Then here's what I'm doing. I'm calling the lender directly. Her voice sharpened instantly. That's not necessary. It absolutely is. You'll embarrass him, she warned. If this is legitimate, I said, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. She hung up. Just like that. No goodbye. No lecture. No guilt trip. Which told me everything I needed to know. I found a phone number for Northline Capital on their official site and dialed it. The line rang twice. Northline Capital, this is Marissa, how can I help you? My pulse hammered. Hi. I'm calling about an account associated with Ethan Miller. There was typing on the other end. One moment. I waited, barely breathing. I'm not seeing an account under that name, she said. My mouth went dry. Could it be under a business? What's the business name? I gave her the dealership name Ethan had mentioned. More typing. No, she said. We don't have a relationship with that entity. I swallowed. Are you affiliated with Northland Capital Group? A pause. No, she said carefully. We are not. Do you know who they are? No, sir. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Thank you, I said. And ended the call. I sat there, staring at the wall. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a typo. This was a lie. But before I could spiral, a thought hit me, sharp and clear. If Ethan didn't know them, then who did he owe? I called the one person Ethan hated involving. Lena. His former accountant. She'd quit 6 months earlier, according to him. Too controlling, he'd said. Didn't believe in my vision. She answered on the third ring. Hello? Lena, I said. It's me. A pause. I was wondering when you'd call. My stomach sank. You knew? I knew you'd get involved eventually, she said. You always do. Tell me, I said. Everything. She exhaled slowly. Ethan isn't dealing with a bank. My chest tightened. Then who? Private lenders, she said. Individuals. That's not what he told me. Of course not, she replied. Because it's worse. I closed my eyes. He borrowed from people who don't care about contracts, she continued. People who expect returns fast. With penalties. How much? I asked. She laughed bitterly. More than he admitted. And growing. My voice shook. Why fake documents? To scare you, she said. Banks sound official. Safer. Easier to justify. And Mom? I asked. Lena hesitated. She knows, Lena said quietly. Not everything. But enough. The words felt like a knife sliding between my ribs. She's been helping him patch holes for years, Lena continued. Covering. Calling favors. Framing things as temporary. I thought of Mom's tone. Her certainty. Her anger at my questions. How bad is it? I asked. If he doesn't pay soon, Lena said, they'll come after assets. Vehicles. Maybe worse. I swallowed hard. Is $173,000 enough? No, she said instantly. I felt dizzy. Then why that number? Because that's what he thought you might say yes to. Silence swallowed the room. So if I paid, I whispered. You'd just be buying time, she said. For him. Not for you. I thanked her and hung up. My hands were shaking. This wasn't about saving a business. This was about enabling a collapse. And suddenly, every piece clicked into place. Ethan's certainty. Mom's pressure. The urgency. The missing details. They didn't need my help. They needed my money. My phone buzzed. Ethan. Did you call them? I stared at the message, my chest burning. Yes, I typed back. We need to talk. Now. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. What did they say? I typed slowly. They said you don't owe them anything. No reply. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Finally. You shouldn't have done that. That was it. No denial. No explanation. Just accusation. I felt something settle in my chest, heavy, cold, final. I wasn't just being manipulated. I was being recruited into a lie. And the worst part? The person who raised me, the one who taught me right from wrong, had already chosen to protect that lie. Because if the truth came out, someone would have to take responsibility. And it was never going to be Ethan. Ethan showed up an hour later. No text. No warning. Just the sound of his car pulling into my driveway like he still had the right to do that. When he knocked, it wasn't soft this time. It was loud. Demanding. I opened the door, and the first thing I noticed was his face, not scared anymore, not pleading. Defensive. We need to talk, he said. I know, I replied, stepping aside. He walked in like he owned the place, pacing before I even closed the door. His hands kept clenching and unclenching, like he was trying not to hit something. Or someone. You went behind my back, he said. I verified facts, I replied. There's a difference. You called the wrong people, he snapped. You don't understand how this works. Oh, I understand now, I said calmly. You lied to me. He stopped pacing and turned sharply. I simplified. You forged documents. They weren't forged, he said quickly. They were placeholders. I let out a slow breath. Ethan. You made fake paperwork to scare me into wiring you 6 figures. His jaw tightened. I needed you to take it seriously. I did, I said. That's why I checked. He ran a hand through his hair. Frustration spilling over. You always do this. You think you're smarter than everyone else. I think I'm not an idiot, I replied. That's not fair, he shot back. You don't know what kind of pressure I'm under. I know exactly what kind, I said. Private lenders. Cash advances. People who don't wait. His eyes widened for half a second. Then he recovered. So Lena talked to you, he muttered. Of course she did, I said. She told me the truth. Or at least more of it than you did. He scoffed. She hates me. She warned me, I said. There's a difference. Silence fell between us, thick, charged. Finally, Ethan sank into the chair across from me, rubbing his temples. The anger drained out of him, replaced by something uglier. Fear. Okay, he said quietly. Fine. You want the full picture? Yes, I replied. All of it. No editing. He swallowed hard. I borrowed from people I shouldn't have, he said. At first, it was just to cover inventory. Then payroll. Then interest on the first loan. And when you couldn't pay? I asked. It stacked, he admitted. Fees. Penalties. It grows fast. How fast? I pressed. He hesitated. Ethan, I warned. Over 200 now, he said. My chest tightened. So even if I gave you the money, it would stop the bleeding, he cut in quickly. Give me breathing room. For how long? I asked. He didn't answer. That told me everything. I stood up. You're not asking me for help. You're asking me to disappear into your mess. That's not true, he snapped. I'll pay you back. With what? I asked. Your business is already drowning. He stood too. You think I don't know that? We stood inches apart, years of resentment vibrating between us. I didn't plan for this, he said, voice cracking. Things got out of control. They always do with you, I said softly. And someone else always cleans it up. His eyes burned. You're my brother. And I'm tired, I replied. That's when my phone rang. Mom. Ethan looked at it and laughed bitterly. Of course. I answered. What's going on? She demanded. The truth, I said. Ethan grabbed the phone from my hand. Mom, stop. I'll handle it. No, she said sharply. I want to hear this. I took the phone back. You already know, I said. You just didn't want to say it out loud. Don't twist this, she warned. Your brother is in danger. Because of his choices, I said. And now you're choosing to abandon him, she snapped. I closed my eyes. I'm choosing not to lie. She inhaled sharply. You're being cruel. No, I said. I'm being honest. Ethan shook his head. Mom, tell him. Tell me what? She paused just long enough to confirm my worst fear. You can help him, she said. You have the money. So that's it? I asked. You want me to wire it, no questions, no protection? Yes, she said. Because that's what family does. I laughed. A short, hollow sound. Family doesn't fake documents. Family doesn't manipulate. You're exaggerating, she snapped. Am I? I asked. Did you know about the private lenders? Silence. I pressed. Mom. Did you know? Her voice softened. I knew he was desperate. That's not an answer. Another pause. I knew enough, she said quietly. Something inside me broke. So you let him lie to me, I said. You backed him while he set me up. I was protecting him, she replied. At my expense, I said. You're stronger, she said. You can handle it. That sentence. The one I'd heard my entire life. You're stronger. You'll be fine. You can take it. Because Ethan never could. I'm done being the safety net, I said. Mom's voice hardened. If you don't help him, don't expect me to forgive you. Ethan stared at me, eyes wide. You're really going to do this? I looked at him, the brother I loved, the man who would sink me without hesitation to stay afloat one more day. I'm not giving you the money, I said. The room exploded. Ethan slammed his fist on the table. You're ruining my life. No, I said. I'm refusing to ruin mine. Mom yelled into the phone. You selfish. I ended the call. The silence afterward was deafening. Ethan laughed, sharp. Ugly. Wow. So that's it. You choose money over blood. I choose truth over lies, I replied. He stepped toward me, eyes wild. You think you're better than us? No, I said quietly. I think I finally see you. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Fine, he said. Don't help. He grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. But before he left, he turned back. When Mom stops talking to you, he said coldly, remember this moment. The door slammed. I sank into the chair, shaking. I had just lost my brother. Maybe my mother too. But deep down, beneath the grief and fear, there was something else. Relief. Because for the first time in my life, I hadn't played my assigned role. And I had no idea yet what it would cost me. The silence after Ethan left lasted 3 days. No texts. No calls. No angry voicemails. Just nothing. That scared me more than the shouting. On the 4th day, Mom unfriended me on Facebook. I know how petty that sounds, but when you grow up in a family where appearances matter more than accountability, that was her version of a public execution. A signal. A line drawn. I didn't react. I didn't reach out. I was done chasing people who only wanted me when I could save them. A week passed. Then another. At night, doubt crept in. Quiet, poisonous. What if I was wrong? What if I could have helped just enough? What if this really destroys him? Those thoughts always arrived with Ethan's face from childhood, gap-toothed smile, skin knees, following me everywhere like I hung the moon. They never arrived with the image of forged documents. Or lies. Or my mother telling me I was stronger so I could bleed quietly. On the 15th day, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Is this my name? A man asked. Yes. This is Detective Harris with the County Financial Crimes Unit. My stomach dropped. I'm calling regarding your brother, Ethan Miller. I sat down slowly. What about him? There's an investigation involving multiple private lenders and falsified financial documents, he said. Your name came up. I closed my eyes. Did he say I was involved? I asked. No, Harris said. He said you refused to participate. That was the first honest thing Ethan had ever said about me. I met the detective the next morning. He laid everything out more calmly than I felt. Ethan had taken money from at least 5 private lenders. Some legal. Some very much not. He'd used fake balance sheets, fake letterheads, even fake email domains to appear legitimate. The documents he showed me? They weren't just inspired by real lenders. They were copied. I'm guessing this looks familiar, Harris said, sliding a folder toward me. I flipped through it and felt sick. They were the same documents Ethan had shown me. Same formatting. Same mistakes. You were targeted as a potential bailout, Harris continued. We see this a lot. Family members with assets. Was my mother involved? I asked quietly. Harris paused. She wasn't financially involved. But she did speak to at least 2 lenders on Ethan's behalf. I exhaled slowly. Did she know they were illegal? I asked. Harris chose his words carefully. She knew they weren't banks. That was enough. Ethan hadn't just lied to me. He'd relied on Mom to make the lie believable. 2 weeks later, Ethan was arrested. No dramatic headlines. No flashing lights on the evening news. Just a mugshot shared quietly in a family group chat I was no longer part of. A cousin sent it to me with one sentence. I'm sorry. You were right. I stared at the image for a long time. Ethan looked smaller. Older. Stripped of the confidence that always convinced everyone else to jump first. I felt grief. But not guilt. Mom called that night. I almost didn't answer. Almost. Please, she said the moment I picked up. I need to talk to you. Her voice was different. Not sharp. Not commanding. Cracked. He's in jail, she said, like I didn't already know. I know. You could have helped him, she whispered. I closed my eyes. I tried to help him the right way. You could have saved him, she insisted. No, I said calmly. I could have delayed this. She cried then. Real crying. The kind she never allowed herself when we were kids. I was trying to protect him, she said. And who was protecting me? I asked. Silence. I spent my whole life being the backup plan, I continued. The fixer. The one who could handle it. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said. But you did, I replied. Over and over. She sobbed quietly. What am I supposed to do now? I swallowed. That's not my responsibility. She didn't like that answer. But she didn't argue. Months passed. Ethan took a plea deal. Reduced sentence. Financial restitution he'll probably never finish paying. Mom stopped calling after I refused to contribute to his legal fees. The family gatherings stopped inviting me not because I was wrong, but because my presence reminded them of truths they didn't want to face. And slowly, my life got quieter. Healthier. Lighter. I slept better. I stopped bracing for emergencies. I stopped checking my phone with dread. One evening, I sat at my kitchen table, the same one where all of this started, and realized something that stunned me. I hadn't lost my family. I'd lost my role. The role of savior. The role of silent sacrifice. The role that kept everyone else comfortable while draining me dry. And without it? I was free. A year later, I got a letter. Handwritten. From Ethan. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for favors. He wrote, I blamed you because it was easier than blaming myself. You were right to say no. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that I finally understand. I folded the letter carefully and placed it in a drawer. Not because everything was healed, but because some truths don't need a response. I lent my brother $173,000 in my head 1,000 times. In every version where I said yes, I lost more than money. I lost myself. In the one version where I said no, I lost people. But I kept my integrity. And in the end, that was the only thing worth saving.